Alright, what is up guys? Today we are going to be installing a EPI clutch kit on my 2003 Sportsman 500 HO with EBS. I got the summer tires on right now. If you watch my previous videos, I had the 28-inch mother-in-laws, Sedona ones. But they work good for, those tires work good for the wintertime snow plowing and stuff, but in the summertime I got in some kind of soft mud. And even low range, this bugger could barely, like literally my tires were turning like that fast. Just like super slow trying to even turn them over low range wide open. So I'm gonna change out the clutching and hopefully that'll help fix the problem. I will let you guys know in a future video here. So, but today's video is basically installing an EPI clutch kit, which I've got right here from EPI. As you can see the clutch guys. It does include, this is their sport utility one because for my year and model they do not make the mud kit. You got your 3 different springs here. And then you also have the Helix, machined Helix. And your clutch weights. Trying to do this one-handed. So here this is. This is for my 03 Sportsman 500 HO. Beautiful part. Thing looks really nice. Main thing will be how it performs. Got my glass of lemonade there, of course. Need something to drink when you're working on stuff. And the instructions. It says it's good for 01 to 05 EBS with 27 28-inch tires. There's your part number. WE425007. So first thing we got to do is I took off one side panel already. This one here. That's pretty easy. But now I see we got to remove. I don't think we have to remove this fender, but we definitely got to remove part of this plastic panel down here. So I believe that's just 4 screws right there. And I'm hoping that's it. I'll have to look on the other side. And then once we do that, we got to take off this cover, which is a few bolts around the side of the cover, and probably one of these guys here. So just a clamp, unscrew that band clamp will come undone. So that's what I'm going to work on now. Once I get all that done, get the cover popped off, I'll show you the clutch and what the next steps are. Alright guys, got all the bolts out of the front, or the back side here. Same thing here. 1, 2, 3, 4, about 4 of them. Then this fender here fits into a little channel right here. So all you gotta do is kind of lift up like that. And you should be able to slide this out. Same with this one. There, it pops right off there. So you can see there's a little groove. I haven't washed my 4-wheeler for a little while, but there's a groove right here that the front and back fender fits into. And then there's your where your bolts go in there. So pretty easy to get that stuff done. Now we just got to take the bolts out around that cover, clutch cover, and then we'll be able to slide that right off there. Alright, so I got the bolts pulled out from around the clutch cover. There's this one here, I believe there's 9 of them, and then the band clamp would be 10. And then that will expose your clutches. So now the thing we got to do is take the bolt out of the front one here, take that center bolt out, and then I'll show you how we're going to pop that off of there. Then we'll pull the belt off, and then we'll work on the back one. Alright guys, so next step is take off the center bolt from your front clutch here. This is just a 5/8, and if you see, when I turn it, this turns. So what you're going to want to do is get a pry bar or something, slide down in between there. I'll show you where. And then just to hold it still so it doesn't move, and then loosen it up. So you can see, just hold it in between there without hitting your center clutches or the springs and stuff. And you should be good. Slide it down in there gently and hold it, and then undo it. So I'll show you how. Alright guys, so mine was being a little stubborn. Got my bar to hold it here. Put this right here on here, and then what I did was I actually got a cheater bar. This is called a cheater bar. Just get a pipe that'll slide over the end of your wrench, slide it on there, and then you can get way more leverage with it. So then I put my tool down here, held my tool pressure that way, and moved the bar back this way. So I held pressure, and just moved the bar, and it came right undone. So, at least it broke it loose anyway. Hopefully that bar doesn't fall on the floor. Okay, so now we can undo this bugger. We're doing, we don't have an actual official clutch puller tool, so I'll show you a little cheater trick that's supposed to work. And pull this off of here, and that's what it looks like right there. So you got a little washer, lock washer basically or something. Yeah, keep that all together, set it off to the side. That way you know where it came, where it's at, how it was lined up. And now we're going to try and get that off of there. Alright guys, so here's a trick on this. Take a 11mm socket and then a 3/8 extension. And you're going to slide this into the hole. And then what you're going to do is you're going to thread in this bolt into here, which I'll tell you what it is in a minute. I believe it's 3/4 inch by 16 is the threads. So it's a 3/4 inch bolt, 16 for threads, and it's this one here is 6 inches long. So you should be able to thread that in, and then just tighten it down a little bit, and this should pop right off here. Okay. Now we tighten. That either worked or it slipped off. Either way, I just did a knuckle buster. Ouch. Might have slipped off. Damn, hit my shin right on here. Woo, there it worked. Got it on video, guys. I can unthread that bugger. So, it requires a little bit of force, but it did work. More force than I thought it would. Ouch. I'll unthread this, watch, and it should slide right off. There we go, slides right off. Slide that off. There's your spline shaft. Here this is here. This was pushing right up against there. Worked pretty darn slick. So I used, make sure I'm recording. So I used a 12mm socket with a little adapter and then my extension, and just slid that right in. And then the bolt was a, this was a grade 8 bolt, 6 inches long, 3/4 by 16 is what the threads were. So that's a bolt I used. This was about $9. Nah, 8 something, and yeah, so that's what I use for a clutch puller. Otherwise, definitely order one off of Amazon. Probably a lot better way to do it. I didn't want to be patient and wait for Amazon shipping, so I just kind of hurried and did it. But yeah, you can get clutch puller for these off Amazon for like $15, $16. Actually, check down in the description. I'll link to one. the clutch puller down in the description. So, all right, next step, take this to the bench, disassemble this, get this one done, and then we'll come back and we'll worry about the other one. Actually, while we're here doing this, one thing to note too is your belt. So mine was on like this. Zoom out if I need to. So mine was on like this. You want to just slide it off, but then you're gonna want to basically just set it down. So you just flip it right back on. That way you keep track of which way it was on there. And I think I might actually just, all we got to do to get this one off is pull that bolt. So I'm going to pull that off, and then we got both of them out of there and done with. So, alright, so I'm going to go ahead and take off that back clutch as well. So it was just a half inch wrench, but this here, the whole thing is kind of moving, so I just held it on this side and then turned it till it loosened up, broke loose. Now I'll just unthread it. Hopefully I'm out of the way for the camera here. Unthread that. There you go. A little lock washer, and then this deal. Set them somewhere where I won't lose them, hopefully. And that should slide right off. There you go. Mine's a little dirty on there. There's that snap ring. There are a couple, yeah, see mine has two little washers on here on the shaft. So you're gonna wanna make sure those, just slide them back on there. Make sure they stay on there. So there's, that's how to remove your clutches. Now it's time to install the new stuff. Alright guys, got the front clutch out of there, the primary one. So now before we take these bolts out of here, you just want to mark your top piece, the spider, and the sheave, the movable one down here. So you want to put an X on the top one, put an X right there so you can see the middle one and the bottom one. That way when you put them back together, everything stays all together because these are balanced from the factory. So they need to go back together the way they were. So next all we're going to do is take these 6 bolts out, pop the top off of here, and then I'll show you what's next. Should be pretty easy. Alright guys, so all you do, take this out. I believe this is a 3/8 inch socket. We'll just get these loosened up to start with. Okay. Hold that down. There we go. Got all my bolts over here. And I should be able to just pull that cover off. This is where you want to make sure you keep everything lined up, but pull that cover right off. Here's our spring on here. I wish I had a little better light for you guys to see. Let me see if I can't get a little better lighting for you guys here. Hold on. Okay guys, found a light for you. I do apologize if the audio isn't the best on here. I forgot to put on my external mic on the camera there, camcorder. But here's what it looks like with the top off of here. We just popped the top off. Here is your spring that we're going to be replacing. So that just sits right in there. There's no marks to worry about to line up or nothing. It just sits right on there. So I'm going to want to clean that off. As you can tell, it's a little bit dirty and everything. But the next thing we're going to do is change out these weights here. You guys can see these weights. Which, if I get a side view of it, here the weights are in here. So they're pretty easy to change out. You just got one little bolt right here, and then you got an Allen wrench on the other side. So we're going to put an Allen wrench in here, get a a little wrench for this one, socket, and take these apart. Then we'll replace all three of them, replace our spring for this, and this part will be done. Put the top back on, we're done with this one. It's the same size as what your top bolts were, it feels like, so that's pretty easy. So just put this in here, hold that, and we'll start loosening these buggers. I should say, I hope we can loosen them. Let's go the other way. There. Once you get them loosened, you can just pop one out. And show you here. I'll show you how to replace one, and then you guys can replace all the other ones. There's our little locking nut. Come on. And here this is, the bolt. We'll just slide that out of there. There's your weight. Set that off to the side. Take your new weights here and just slide a new one in. Slide that in. Replace this right through here. Kind of line it up. You may have to lift it up a little bit or something. And that'll slide right in and across. Got the new shiny weight in there. Where are we at? So you guys can see. And then we'll just put that back on there and tighten it down. But I always start them with my fingers to make sure I don't strip nothing there. You'll feel it when it hits the end, like it just did a dead stop right there. And these will have a little bit of free play in them, like that. So just go till it stops. You'll be able to feel it pretty easy. So now I'm just going to do the rest and then change out the spring, and then we should be good. Alright guys, I got all the little clutch weights changed out. Now it's time to change out the spring here. So we'll just pop that off. I should actually clean this out. Oh, yeah. I'm going to get some cleaner stuff and clean this out. And then actually what the other thing you're supposed to do and should do is clean your clutches here. Just get a rag. Use some brake cleaner that's not oily and stuff. Then just clean some of this stuff. So, but once I do get that clean, you have two choices to go with. You can either go with the red EPI spring or with the orange one. The orange one will engage at a higher RPM, so basically this will be better for giving you a little bit more bottom end and for turning over bigger mud tires, like I have the 28s. So this is more of the softer engagement. This one here will be better for turning over bigger tires. I believe that's how it's supposed to work. So I'm going to install the orange one myself. So all you do, make sure this sets down nice and flat in there. And then when you put the top on, make sure that's nice and flat, and then put the bolts on. But first I'm going to get this cleaned up, and then we'll go ahead and show you how to install it. Alright, so you guys went ahead, clean it with brake cleaner, some fluid and stuff. Used emery cloth, stainless steel wool, just scrubbed in and out. Not this way, went this way in and out. And then, yeah, wiped it all down. Got everything nice, and you can tell it looks much, much better now. So, way cleaner, way nicer. Still got your X's on here. So we're gonna, X's are towards me, and take this orange spring, which we're gonna put on. Line that up, it's nice and flat in there. And take the cover piece, set this on here. Make sure that's nice and flat too. And then we are gonna need to squish this down to get these bolts in here. Alright, so guys, kind of a quick little pro tip. I use my old blue spring to set underneath here to actually hold this top piece up That's why the bolts are so far away, because if I pulled this out, this was dropping way down to the bottom. So I needed 3 hands basically, but I took and I slid the ring that way, and then I slid it under there like that so it actually hold it up. And then I used both hands to push down, had to push pretty hard, and then get one bolt started here, and then one bolt started in the other corner here, and I put them all in. Now I got to tighten them down. Once that's tightened down, we should be good to go. Got the orange spring in there. So then it's just put this back on, torque down the bolt here to, I believe, 45 foot-pounds, and then that one should be done. So then we'll go on to the next one. Alright guys, so I got the secondary clutch out of there, and what there is there's a snap ring on here, which you can hopefully see right in there. We need to take that off, but instead of just trying to push down on this helix by hand, I basically got a long threaded bar, just slid through from the top down here to the bottom. Then I put a couple of washers on it, and then I put a nut, tighten the nut up to there, so it's holding it this way so that it can't come, so the bar can't shoot up that way or anything. And then I tighten it down in the vise, and then put the spring over the top, just something to hold down on here, and then a couple other washers and a nut on here. So now I'm going to take that snap ring off and then loosen this part up, and hopefully that will be what we need to do here. And is that a heavy duty snap ring now? Oh. Alright, just got the snap ring popped off there, and ended up using this great big one. It's actually a really big snap ring. So now I'm gonna gently unthread this, take tension off everything, and see what we got. See if this helix kind of moves as it's moving. So now that should allow everything to hopefully come apart nice and easy. You see how that helix is sliding up and out of there? So that is exactly what we want. That tells me that little bugger is under a pretty fair amount of tension. Let's pull. This is my EPI spring, which I had to use for compressing it, unfortunately. But it's all good. Here is that snap ring. Run on top of there. This hopefully just slide off of here. Or is that still under some pressure? There we go. Just had to push down a little bit. And there it is. So there's the old helix there. Right there's the old helix. My camera will focus. There we go. Now we'll just have to put in the new one right down in there, and this is the old spring. So pretty easy. Just set your new one in, set your new helix on there, and away we go. I'll give you guys a look inside there if you want to see inside of it. I'm sure you do. Let me zoom out. So there's a look down inside of it. give you a good idea of what you're dealing with here. This clutch here was different from some of the other ones I've seen on the internet, so yeah. Looked a little different, but everything's still kind of got a washer down here. So kind of the basic same principle and ideas, but this way worked pretty decent for getting that apart. So now I'm going to install the new one, EPI one. I'll just slide this over, set that right down on top of there. Make sure there's not a, yeah, they should both be bottom and top. And then the new helix, which is, don't forget the snap ring on top of the box. New helix is right here. Slide this down and on there, and then away we go. Then we'll have to compress this little bugger a little bit, but we should be pretty good once we get her on there. Alright guys, so one thing when you're putting this back together, which I didn't realize, so everybody makes mistakes, but we marked it in red right there, but that spline is a lot bigger than all the other ones. And so in your new collar piece here that goes down over the top, this one here, this has a big spline on it also. So to get this to go down in, you need to line that spline up with this one down here, and then everything will go into place. So make sure all that stuff is lined up. Alright guys, so we got that spline lined up with the other one, and then compressed it. You're pretty much going to need 2 people for this step to get it lined up, hold it, line it up, push it down, and have the other guy compress a spring or whatever you're using to hold pressure down on this bugger. But then once we got that down in there, we just use the snap ring pliers. Got our snap ring back in there. Right there, you can see it in there. And we're good to go. So now I just gotta get this all installed back in the four-wheeler and take her out for a rip, see how it works. Alright, so there both clutches are put back together. Got the snap ring in. You can see that orange mark right there from where the big spline was. Got everything aligned, all these things. All my black marks aligned. Got this one all aligned. So now all we got to do is take this one here, slide it back on there, tighten down the bolt, put the front one on, slide it on, tighten down the bolt, and then put the cover back on, put the bolts on, and then we should be good to go. And I'm going to throw on the big mud tires and actually maybe take it out tonight. See how fast this goes back together, but maybe take it out tonight and give her a quick test run. And then I'll try and give you guys an update or do a video update here once I'm out and get to find some mud or test it out as long as it works good, and let you guys know the feedback on the EPI clutch kit. So that is pretty much how you install it. I'll set this down here and put them back on for you. Alright, so the back one here should just slide right on. Oh, I'm not in the way of the camera. There's the bolt. Just slide this bugger on here. Slide that on there. And this great big bolt here. Slide on in there. I'll slide that over first. There's a little trick for you. Slide that over your back clutch first to kind of ensure that everything will go on there. And you're going to want to tighten this bugger down 45 foot-pounds for this guy. Now you can actually see how the clutch works. Alright, there we go, guys. Got it all back together. I just got to swap out the tires for the Sedona mother-in-law's, put the 28s on here and then go for a quick spin. It's dark out right now, but I'll just go for a run up and down the gravel road, see what I think. Yeah, can't wait to try out the clutch kit, see how it works. So if you guys are thinking about doing it, the process, not too bad. Just plan on an afternoon. If you got the right tools and stuff, I'd recommend buying a clutch puller off of Amazon, which will be linked in the video below. Spring compressor, man, the threaded rod actually worked pretty decent. You could buy one of them too if you really wanted. But not too bad actually. So as long as you just have time, have some time, be patient with it and everything should go good. So just make sure you don't overlook any steps or anything. Watch YouTube videos while you're doing it so you see how everything's done, and should be good. Alright guys, thanks for watching. Hope you liked the video. Remember, favorite, like, share, and subscribe, and we will catch you later. I'm gonna go have some fun after I get the big tires put on.